Hi, YouTubers. I want to welcome you to another edition of Bargain Bin Gear. Okay, now, yesterday I uploaded a video, right, on the Morley ABY box, right, which I have here. Okay. And it's where basically I took a guitar signal, a mono guitar signal, and had it go out to two different amps. Okay, and it's just a passive ABY box, so you can basically split the signal into two and send them to both outputs or one or the other. So you could choose 1 amp or 2 in mono. But I play in stereo, and so I wanted another one of these, right? And of course I didn't want to pay as much as they were asking for a new one. So I ordered a used one, and when I got it, I was stunned to find it didn't work at all. No audio. One of the switches was all messed up. It was just a bad deal. So, I returned the Morley ABY foot switch they had sent me, you know, and told them, hey, this thing is DOA, right? Dead on arrival, no good, bad. Luckily for me, they had another one, right? And I'm pleased to say that it has arrived. So this is kind of a little update. And it's quite late here, so I'm going to have to make this part of the video a little short. So anyway, it arrived. And I was crossing my fingers that maybe, just maybe, they had gotten their act together and sent me a pedal that works. And there were quite a few surprises, right? So obviously, these were two different stores in the same chain, okay? And one of them had their act together and the other didn't. And unfortunately, I made the mistake of ordering from the store that just didn't have it together, and the pedal was no good. But to their credit, when I ordered the other pedal from the other store, man, they got it out like that, right? And it's here. So that's great. Now, here are the surprises. Lucky for us. The first is, check this out. It actually came in a box. The original manufacturer box. Now, I don't know about you, but that's always a good sign. And as a result, we're going to have an official unboxing. Granted, the box has been opened before. You got to remember it's used. Okay. But still, how cool is that? And on top of that, see that sticker right there? Made in the USA. I didn't know that about these pedals. And it's the same Morley ABY, and as it turns out, it's actually called Selector Combiner. And that makes sense, right? Because you want to select, right? Splitting the signal from A into the A or B jacks, right? So you can select A or B, or A and B, which is the Y part. Which means that it'll split the signal into both output jacks at the same time. Which means you can go to two different amps. So my idea was, well, gosh, that'd be so cool to run it in stereo, right? Using two of these Morley ABY boxes, right? And be able to choose up to 4 amps. 2 on the left and 2 on the right. How cool would that be? And they don't have to be the same kind of amps, so it would sound different. So, first thing, right, let's do an unboxing. Those kind of not really an unboxing because I've already opened it, and it's been opened before because it's used. Still, and please don't try this at home. Right, only professionals should attempt. Here we go. Here it comes. Here we go. Careful now. Careful. Oh. And there it is. The box has been opened. And again, release the Kraken! Shh, gotta be quiet. It's really late. Okay. So, and inside, it looks like a Morley ABY box. Okay. So I pull the pedal out, and there's a couple things that I notice right away on this replacement ABY box. And one of the things that I hadn't even thought of, and I thought, man, they really have their act together, and that is this. Take a look at this. Now, this is the sticker that they put on with the price and so on. Okay, that's a sticker they put on the pedal. But, to not ruin the pedal, they've actually put some blue painter's tape, which comes off super easily. Right here. Right? And there you've got the Morley logo. Now listen. That's a big deal. Right? So they've obviously thought ahead. And whoever thought that up, kudos to you, because you know, that's probably one of the worst things is you get a pedal, even if it's used, right, and it's got a cruddy sticker on it, right, it messes everything up, takes the logo off or anything like that. But with this blue painter's tape on top of it, very cool. So it's easy to get off. On top of that, as a bonus, on the back, because it's a used pedal, okay, so it's got here and here, it's got like some Velcro strips. Great. Maybe I can just slap it on my pedal board. Only problem is it's not actually going on a pedal board. But it's okay, it's got 4 little feet here. Okay, so this is the replacement one. Now, as a free bonus, your free gift, right, it comes with more, right, things that I didn't expect. Yes, I'm familiar with this pedal because I've had one for 20 years, right here. And in fact, it still has the original sticker on the back. Now there's something you'll notice here. While it has A and B lights, right, to tell you which one is on or which one is not, okay, to put a battery in here, I mean, you kind of had to take it apart here, you know. It's been, well, you have to take off the screws and basically take the pedal apart just to get a battery in there. Who wants to do that, right? Kind of a pain in the butt. And what I've noticed is this is a more modern version of the same pedal from the same company. But check this out. They have changed the back. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's still metal, right? I don't know if it's as good as the top metal here. But in exchange, what they've given you is an external 9-volt battery. And remember, this is a passive pedal. So all this does, the battery will just light up these two little LEDs right here. Okay, you don't have to do that. It'll work by just plugging the cables in without any power whatsoever. Okay, so, you just have to, instead of using the LEDs to tell which is on and which is not, just hitting the switch to either A or B or A and B. But now it's so easy, right? You can just add a little 9-volt battery right there. So that's really simple, right? A lot easier than having to take apart the pedal, to get a 9-volt battery in there, which is going to go bad at some point, so you're going to have to replace it again. So this is a really good thing right here. But it doesn't stop there. Okay. Who wants to go through a bunch of 9-volt batteries? Right? Remember, I've had this one for 20 years. Right? Can you imagine the number of 9-volt batteries that I will have gone through? Right? So, what they've done in addition to the 9-volt battery, check this out. They've added, in between the switch here, an adapter, a 9-volt adapter, or AC. Basically, it's actually DC. Anyway, in other words, you can use it off your, pedal board connector and just connect it there, and it'll light up the LED lights. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's definitely, in a sense, better than this one. Notice there's no, right? No DC switch there, right? Compare it. Yeah, see that? The top one and mine. Nope. So that's very cool. So maybe not quite as solid, though I don't know for sure, than this one with the metal back. But this still has metal, but it seems to be a different kind of metal. But in exchange, you get the battery compartment and the DC compartment. So I think that's really, really cool. Very nice. Right? Now, here's the thing. Does it work? Right? A little leery after, being sent a pedal that didn't work at all. Right? I'll go through this real quick. And yes, I've tried it. And I'm pleased to report that my faith has been restored in this company, and that this pedal does work very well. And in fact, works as expected and sounds as expected as my original Morley pedal. And just to show you, I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing I did in the last video with this pedal, this Morley, instead of this Morley, which is basically just run it into two different amps and make sure that we can switch between amps or play both amps together. And this means that we're going to have a part 3 video. This is part 2. Okay? I very much like doing series of videos. Right? And in this one, we're just going to test out the pedal that I received. Okay? But in the next video, we will actually use both pedals, which was my original idea, to run in stereo with 2 amps on the left side and 2 amps on the right side, in stereo and see what the results of that will be. And I think it should be quite something. And what I was very pleased about, even in trying this pedal, is I ran some effects through it, right? And again, you know, with inexpensive pedals like this, I mean, this was really inexpensive. There's always a risk that it messes with your sound or messes with the effects, you know, something doesn't sound quite right or different, you know, or adds noise and, you know, hum, that kind of thing, right? And they do make a pro pedal, and it's got a phase switch and all this kind of stuff, right? But so far, I've found that these pedals just work really great, and it's so simple, you know? I mean, I don't have to mess with any of that stuff. It's just plug in the guitar cable, plug in another guitar cable to one amp, plug it to another amp with the other jack, and that's it. Okay? And it doesn't mess with the effects. And it is true bypass, by the way. So you can imagine, I'm really excited. Unfortunately, it's a little late tonight to try both at once. But I will definitely be doing that. And it should be quite something. I'm really excited about that. Now, for my purposes, okay, these won't be on my pedal board. You know, no real reason to. Basically, they'll be off my pedal board, and all they do is just connect to 2 amps. That's it. You know, so, and I don't really need the LED lights, you know, because I'm always going to be running it A and B. Though I suppose if I wanted to, I could switch it to just 2 amps and then sometimes 4 amps. Haven't gotten that far yet, you know, as far as uses go. So for right now, I'm just going to always be using it A and B. Right? It's just basically splitting the signal, right? And then I have a stereo pedal board with stereo effects, in other words, the left and the right, right? And each one, the left cable will go into the first Morley pedal, and then the right cable will go into this Morley pedal. And they will go to 4 different amps, right? 2 for this one and 2 for this one, right? And that should be quite something. And quite frankly, I might even basically put less wear and tear on my amplifiers, because, you know, I won't be using them quite as loudly, because there's 2 of them, right, on each side. So that's good. That'll save my tubes, you know, in the tube amps. Alright, so let's get to it. Make sure this thing works as intended. Okay, just to make sure this pedal works, I've got it hooked up here, and on the A side I've got the little Fender Super Champ X2. Let's take a listen to it. And what I've done here is turned up the reverb so that you can hear the distinction between the 2 amps a little better. So okay. So there's the Fender Super Champ X2. We're going to use the Morley switch to switch over to the PB Classic 30. Okay, now let's try both together. Okay, and this is the Fender X2 and the PB Classic 30. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that, and this company has restored my faith in that company. It looks like these guys who sent me this pedal have their act together, and let's make sure we can remove the sales sticker. Okay, and there it is. That's the Morley, and I'll always be able to tell them apart. Why? Battery compartment. Old one, no battery compartment. New one, battery compartment, and the little DC jack. You know, and I tell you, the LEDs are a good idea, just because it can be very confusing if you're not sure what the status is. You know, A or B, A and B. You know, pretty straightforward, but believe me, when you're playing and things, you know, you never know. However, for my purposes, because, you know, that's more if you're kind of switching an effect in and out, or, you know, playing, or actually not playing, but having two guitars and switching between one or the other. And I won't be doing any of that. Yeah, and this will be, you know, basically, not on my pedal board, but just on the floor, even on top of one of the amps. And it'll go to 2 amps, you know. Ideally, you know, you could stack the amps. Like I have 2 black stars here, and then 2 more on the right. So could set that right on top of the top amp, and it would go, you know, to the bottom amp, to the top amp, and do that on each side, right? And there you go. So pretty cool pair of Morleys, you know. And it's not that, you know, other ABY switches aren't good. That's not what this video is about at all, you know. And in fact, it's just I didn't want to take any chances with any kind of weird stuff, you know. And I know that this works for me very, very well. And it sounds great, you know. No messing with the sound, you know, messing with my sound, or messing with the effects. You know, some pedals don't take effects well and that kind of thing. Or adding additional noise and that kind of thing. And that's why I wanted another one exactly like it, or close to it anyway. You know, and sure enough, that's exactly what I got. Now granted, it took another try to to get another one that works, you know. But I was patient, you know, so no big deal. Very pleased, yeah. And, you know, compared to buying a new one, it saved me like $50, you know. Now I know in Used Cars, the movie, $50 never killed anybody, but still, it's still $50 I can spend on something else. You know. And an added bonus, here it is. Quite impressed with this too. Inside the box, which I haven't shown you yet. Check this out. Wow. A Morley catalog. Well, it's kind of a pamphlet. It's actually one page, but it's nicely folded. And look at that. Shows me the best sellers, you know, their pedals. Switching devices. It's got all different kinds here. Yeah. And it looks like I've got the simplest one, which is fine. That's actually what I wanted. You know, I didn't want one that was, you know, packed full of different options and that kind of thing. Like this one, the second one down, which is the Pro one. And the Pro one, you know, it's got discrete independent channels, prevent bleed, crosstalk, and hum, and those kinds of things. I don't know. You know, maybe for some people that works better for them. Silent switching, and then, you know, what is it? Ground loop lift. I've never run into that issue, you know. So, anyway, and that's the problem, is that this pedal that I got, the very simplest one, more expensive, or is less expensive than obviously the more expensive one, the Pro version, right? Now this is an old brochure, I can tell. The Morley product group. Wow. Okay. So anyway, this is the end of part 2. Pretty cool, you know. But if you feel you need the ground lift and all that business, that's great. You know, then I would get the Pro one. For my purposes, this one's great for me, because I don't have issues with the ground lifts and so on. You know, yeah, so this one, no problems at all, and I don't have any crosstalk or any bleed, you know, that kind of thing. And keep in mind, though, I guess I use usually the clean channel on my amps, so, you know, I don't know if maybe using a distortion channel on one of the amps would make a difference. I don't know, but I've just never had a problem, you know, with the sound coming out of these, you know, or any weird issues, that kind of thing. You know, I mean, I'm basically asking it to do something quite simple, which is basically just split the signal into 2 output jacks. Alright, so this is kind of an in-between video compared to the first one. And the next one right? I'm actually going to use the 4 different amps, right, and get a stereo sound. And I'll be using effects and things, and if it's as cool as I think it'll be really worthwhile, you know. Alright, very good. See you next time.